afternoon. I'm Dr. Aaron Rowland, chairman of the American Mustache Institute, the leading civil liberties organization in the world, and broadly considered the bravest organization in the history of mankind, behind only the U.S. military and the post-Jim Henson Muppets. We're here today to discuss what is perhaps the most important tax mitigation initiatives in the history of initiatives since our founding fathers created the system of government. You see, when the Declaration of Independence was adopted in 1776, Americans understood that we were endowed by our creators with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We were also afforded a freedom of unfair taxation. In fact, Clarence Darrow's historic 1913 speech about unfair taxation, in it he said, "Every sin and every wrong that exists in the world is the product of law, and you cannot cure it without curing the cause." And with this in mind today, aptly on President's Day, the American Mustache Institute introduces the Million Mustache March in support of the Stimulus to Allow Critical Hair Expenses Act, or Stash Act, which is proposed legislation conceived by noted tax policy professor Dr. John Yider, who you'll hear from in just a moment, from Northeastern State University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If adopted, the Stash Act would provide an annual $250 tax refund to people of mustached American descent for expenditures on mustache grooming supplies in the determination of adjusted gross income. So why this is important? Why is it why is this necessary? Why is this so just? It's a lesson in history. So bear with me here for a moment, but facial hair and government historically have not been easy partners. There have only been 9 presidents of the United States with facial hair. There has not been a mustached American president of the United States since William Howard Taft left office in 1913. There has not even been a major party candidate for president since Thomas E. Dewey in 1948. Today, there are just 34 people of facial hair in the House of Representatives, just North Dakota's John Hoeven in the U.S. Senate, and there are 26 states without mustached American representation in the Capitol, which is shameful. Now, despite these patterns, if you go back to the 1960s, when the U.S. government became very, very concerned about Americans traveling overseas, they were being called ugly Americans. And this was even before Jersey Shore. The late President Gerald Ford, who at the time was House Minority Leader, actually reached out at the time to the American Mustache Institute to enlist our support. He simply wanted us to help improve American good looks so that ideally these taunts would go away. Over the coming years, we would do just that. According to AMI Science, we've increased mustache growth and thus improved good looks by 38% in this country. But those good looks came at a cost in the form of American-made facial hair grooming products like beard and mustache trimmers, facial hair dyes, karate training devices, mayonnaise, and dynamite. Indeed, those accoutrements are not free. And there is a clear and undeniable link between mustache maintenance and good looks, not to mention well-known studies that says facial hair plays a role in aiding incremental income and furthering environmental stewardship. It is clear that mustache maintenance costs qualify and should be considered a deductible expense related to the production of income underneath Internal Revenue Service Code Section 212, and hence the Million Mustache March. So what is the Million Mustache March? Well, whether you are a person of mustached American descent or whether you're a barefaced mortal, you can participate. You can support a $250 annual tax refund. All you have to do is visit stashact.com, where you can add a past presidential mustache to a Facebook photo. Or on April 1st, the American Mustache Institute will lead a physical march of 1 million mustached Americans from right here at the U.S. Capitol to the White House. Perhaps most importantly to this entire effort, as the leading tax authority in the U.S., and believing that Americans should never settle for less, H&R Block has agreed to not only endorse the Million Mustache March, but has proudly agreed to support this endeavor in other ways. For each participant in the Million Mustache March, whether the physical march or on Facebook, H&R Block will make a charitable contribution to Millions from One, which delivers clean drinking water to those who cannot obtain it themselves. Thank you, H&R Block. So today we are asking all taxpayers in America, don't disregard the intentions of the Founding Fathers nor civil libertarians like Clarence Darrow. Join the American Mustache Institute, Dr. Yider, and H&R Block for the most important movement in the history of movements. Help us ensure for fair taxation for mustached Americans. At the same time, help deliver clean drinking water to those who cannot obtain it themselves. You're welcome. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. John Yider, who's the architect behind the Million Mustache March and the Stash Act.
Good afternoon. As I came here this morning, I walked by the Internal Revenue Service building. And on the front of the building it says, "Taxes are the price we pay for a civilized society." Part of that civilized society is the mustache. And that is no more obvious by the fact that that quote is from Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, a Supreme Court justice well known who also had a civilized mustache. Keeping a civilized mustache in a civilized society is not free. It costs a little bit for us to have our mustache wax, to keep these from blowing in the wind that's blowing through the Capitol here. And so it's only right and fitting that we should have a small tax deduction available to us for the costs of our mustache maintenance supplies. You can read more about it in the paper that I wrote concerning the Stash Act. The bill that I wrote is very small, it's short, it's direct and to the point. It says mustached Americans can receive a $250 tax deduction to arrive at adjusted gross income up to $250 for the cost of their mustache maintenance supplies. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's appropriate in this civilized society. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yider. You're clearly a great, not only a great mustached American, but a great American.